G'day, I'm Josh and welcome back to the Learning Bislama series. In today's lesson, we're going to jump into looking at the sounds of Bislama. Let's get into it. When you start learning a new language, it's really important that right from the get-go, you understand the sounds of that particular language. It's really frustrating when you put in all of this hard work to learn a brand new language, and then when you finally get over to the place and you want to actually speak that language, no one understands you because your accent is completely off. At first, I thought it was almost a little bit rude for me to try and duplicate other people's accent, to try and sound like I was a local. But it took me a little bit of time for me to realize how vital this actually is when you learn a new language. Have a look at some of the videos coming up. Now, note that everyone speaks English in these videos, but it's super important how different their accents are. Let's have a look.
And welcome to Australia Zoo. Mate, every single thing you see here today, myself and my mum and dad built from the ground up. And Terry and I, well, we're just continuing the family tradition. Please, come and have a look at the things we love the most.
Yeah, probably more. Since day one, pretty much. Yeah, I can't wait to run into him. Yeah, I can't wait to put the silver medal around.
Possible without him, really.
No, I'm going to put the silver medal around his neck.
You know, he has a young family at home and he spent more than half of this year with us away in training camps and stuff like that, so he's given up a lot of his time too. So
you know, we try to make it a little bit more fun and try to have some laughs here and there, but we're already emotional just because, you know, we've been working so hard for this and coming out of this with no regrets. I think just waiting for that one moment, I was kind of shaking next to Ali.
Tweed Guides, it's just been set up. It's about in its third year now, and we bring people over from all walks of life. We bring them fishing anywhere they want to go. We use the Tweed, we use all the tributaries of the Tweed, and we just want to get people together to have fun and to enjoy fishing together.
Find money. Because I do economics, and I'm doing my master's in it. As a matter of fact, I specialize in monetary economics. It's in that I learned about the illusion, you know. So we call it fiat money. Fiat money is whereby the face value of the money is far above the intrinsic value of the money. Because having that kind of variance, it carries as money.
Okay, so I get that they were to the far extremes of each of the accents, but it proves the point that if we were going to speak English, it's important to understand exactly what place we're going to understand the dialect, the accent, so that we can try and duplicate that to the best of our ability so that people there can understand us and vice versa. So to further prove my point, I'm going to read out loud now some German phrases. Now, to be fair, I do not know German. I don't know how to do a German accent. I've never even been to Germany before. But I'm going to read out these phrases in my Australian English accent. And then I want you to listen to how a German-speaking German would say these exact same phrases using their dialect, their accent. Schon dich zu sehen.
Schön, dich zu sehen.
Was hast du heute gemacht?
Was hast du heute gemacht?
Ich kann gut kochen.
Ich kann gut kochen.
So hopefully what you got from that activity is that by me speaking out these German phrases in an Australian English accent, it was really clear how far this was from a German person speaking these phrases in a German accent. Dare I say, if I was in Germany and I tried to read those phrases out loud, people from Germany might not even understand me based on the accent, based on how I read it. Hopefully I'm starting to emphasize the fact that it's really important to make sure that you understand the sounds of the language. In applying this directly to the language Bislama, I'm going to read a couple of Bislama phrases using my Australian English accent. And then you're going to hear some Vanuatu people saying the exact same phrase using their Bislama local Vanuatu accent. Note how far they are from each other. Let's get into it. Me go long store from one something.
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 You kasem straight meaning blong talk iya.
You kasem straight meaning blong talk ya.
You kasem straight meaning blong talk ya. You kasem straight meaning blong talk ya.
Me come back long Karen after me kakum kakai.
Me come back long Karen after me kukum kakai.
Me come back long Karen after me kukum kakai.
Mi kan paglokaren after mi kukukung kagai.
So, massive difference, right? Super important to understand that the accent that you use completely changes the ability of other people from that area, in this case Vanuatu, to actually understand your Bislama and vice versa. In Bislama, the vowels are the same as they are in English. We have A, E, I, O, and U. Regarding vowels, English and Bislama differ in the fact that English vowels can often be pronounced in multiple ways. For instance, A can be pronounced as the long vowel with cake, whereas A could also be pronounced as the short vowel in apple. With Bislama, the vowels are consistently used across the board. For A, the vowel is pronounced as A, as in apple. In Bislama, the E is always a short lettered vowel. The E is always pronounced as E, kind of like bell or nest. I is also used consistently as a short vowel. It's pronounced similar to that of ship or fish. The I will always have an E sound as opposed to an I sound. O can sometimes be a little bit complicated when it comes to written and spoken Bislama. Typically, you will hear the O as O, the short vowel sound, like in frog or cot. U, you will always hear as the long vowel sound, like in glue or flute. The U is always pronounced with an oo sound. So saying these vowels can be a really good warm-up strategy to get you into these lessons of Bislama. I would suggest that for the next few lessons, you start the lesson by out loud pronouncing the vowels. A, E, I, O, U. I'm going to play a couple of videos of some local Ni Vanuatu people saying these vowels. I'm going to play them and give a little bit of blank space for you to copy after them. Are you ready?
A, E, I, O, U.
A, E, I, O, U.
A, E, I, O, U.
A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U.
So, how did you go? Did you notice the difference? Even though they're the same vowels that we use in English, you could probably sense that you were starting to say them a little bit differently. Did you even notice maybe your jaw was a little bit different? Maybe it opened a bit wider. Maybe your tongue was in a slightly different spot when you started speaking. As we work through the different sounds of Bislama this week and next week's lesson, you're going to start to realize that it's completely different in how you pronounce these letters, even though they're so similar to those of English. In wrapping up the lesson for this week, I want you to think back to that pairing or batching task that you thought of in a previous lesson. This is going to be your opportunity to start to practice Bislama. When you do that task that you thought of, I want you to be saying out loud your Bislama vowels. A, E, I, O, U. If you have the opportunity to listen back to or rewatch the video as you practice, that's great. If not, still try and pronounce those as best as you possibly can. Try and check in at least once or twice in the week to make sure that you're definitely on track in how you're pronouncing your Bislama vowels. Thanks so much for sticking with us. We'll see you next week where we move on to Sounds of Bislama Part 2. See you then.